Hi, this is Judy Griffin with Aroma Health Texas. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And today I thought we would focus on some remedies and recipes that have our Provence lavender in them. Now, it's not just Provence lavender, but we use Provence lavender specifically because the aroma is so terrific. It is so much stronger than the lavenders. There's many different lavenders, and now when you buy it commercially as an essential oil or a fragrance of any kind, you're getting a mixture of all the different lavenders, and that's the way the FDA likes it now. So, but there's a lot of lavenders, like the Spanish lavender, that doesn't have much aroma to it, and it's not a very high quality oil to use or essence. And so I thought I would go with a few products with our lavender in it. Lavender is a very popular aroma, and it's considered a heart scent. And in aromatherapy, it's usually a top note, which is the aroma you will smell the first. And kind of picking up from our last video, this is something I called Harmony. It is a Harmony blend. It is not the same as the Bouquet of Harmony. It's much stronger and much more complicated blend. It does have our Provence lavender in it, and it also has some of our antique rose collection, some of our antique roses. This happens to be Maggie. She's a bourbon rose, and bourbon roses just have the most incredible smell. It's just layers and layers of depth to a bourbon rose aroma. So we have that in there, and I just mentioned that we have an entire test kit, what we call a test kit, which is the small bottles of 22 antique roses or old garden roses. And many of these are in the Harmony blend and many other products that we have. Harmony was made, or was specifically, I was asked to make a product like this for the hospitals that I worked with, and they used this particular blend on a lot of people, especially their cancer patients. And they started me with bone marrow and stem cell transplant patients. And if you're not familiar with that, it's most people don't live through the operation or the next 3 weeks. They're very serious. And so they wanted me to make a blend that gave them less pain, better moods, less fear, and longevity. So Harmony is what we came up with, and we had a 15%, after a year or so, we had a 15% increase in longevity, better breathing, more normal blood pressure, and skin temperatures by using the Harmony blend. And Harmony just became a standard blend in most hospitals that used them, because they used them with so many different people with different situations, pregnant women and children and grouchy old men sometimes, but they felt better after the Harmony, and even people with speech therapy. It just seems to calm the whole psyche, but yet there's an uplifting of good energy, which the body knows how to use to make itself better. I want to talk about a few other, if you have time today, we'll talk about a few other products that we use the Provence lavender. One in Texas is very popular, we just call it allergy, so people understand what it's for. It has Provence Lavender in it, and it has several other of a line we call petite fleur essences. Many of those are natives in Texas and grow easily here. This product is very good to spray it. When you get a stuffy nose, when your ears hurt, when, in Texas we have so many allergies. We even get stuff from other states that blow in here. So it's always a useful blend for us to have. And seasonal changes. Some people have mood changes in different seasons. Some people have depression in other seasons because the sunlight changes the brain chemistry, and the amount of sunlight we get from season to season changes. And then they have to go change the time on us, which is just really aggravating. And allergy is the blend that will help you overcome the challenges that come with seasonal changes. When I first started using lavenders and growing lavenders, they're not always easy to grow in Texas, especially in North Texas where we live. And my youngest son was then 2 years old. I don't remember why I took him to the doctor, but they told me, he can't hear. It's like, okay. So they sent me to the audiologist, and they did their procedures. He didn't have ear infections, he just couldn't hear. And told me that he had lost 50% of his hearing, and that the nerves were gone, and that there was nerve damage, and that he would never get that hearing back. Well, by that time, I'd been through 6 years with the twins, and overcoming some serious health problems with myself, and using essences for all these things. I just decided to go with it and went in the garden, and lavender was what got my attention, and I made a blend again for my son, which I didn't call anything then, but which became allergy. And I also did another blend called Hear Me Now, which is a different kind of blend. It's in an almond oil base. And I would use these blends on my son. Within 3 weeks, he had all his hearing back. And I said, what about the nerve damage? And they said, you don't need to come back here anymore. So I was happy. They were perplexed. I've never been able to explain it other than, maybe a lot of allergy had a lot to do with the hearing loss, but not the nerve loss. So especially children can get well really fast, and they only need a little catalyst, and that's the kind of energy that the essences have for you. We have one that we call relaxation, because so many people need to come home and just let go. Just let down and let go. And relaxation is a light scent with lavender in it. I don't think it's an overwhelming scent, but I like them a little light in fragrance so you don't overwhelm your brain. Your nose is part of your brain. It comes from your brain, and all your scents go directly to your brain. And heavy scents and long-term use of scents can be very disturbing to the brain, actually. And I want to talk a little bit, just for a few minutes, about lavender in other ways. All lavender plants have properties in them that are estrogenic, especially if you're using essential oils. And we make some essential oils we distill in glass on site, and separate only in glass. We hand separate. We don't use any hexane. We don't leave any kind of chemical footprint for our products. But lavender used consistently or diffused in your rooms all the time can have an estrogenic effect, and especially with children, it can be, I say dangerous, okay? Because I've seen children that grew breasts that were boy and girls that were very young, and it's not natural. It's like overwhelming the body with estrogen that it can't handle. So when you're using products, it's one reason that our essences are very, I'd say light, but refreshing. But we don't use lavender in ways that would be detrimental to children. They don't ever get enough of it, and we don't recommend that people use lavender every day, all day long. We have very popular scents using some of our Provence lavender. One of them is Abate Anger. And believe it or not, it might be because we're in Texas, but we're also worldwide, and that's one of our most popular blends. But it has many other things in them, not just lavender. They have many other things in there with a touch of some lavender. So people of all ages it can be useful for, but we always recommend that adults use lavender more often if they want a scent that they want to use more often, to use lavender with adults rather than growing children. So that's my soapbox for today. You can use, we have a clearing spray that is very light and refreshing, and it has a little bit of our lavender in it, but it dissipates in a whole room, or if you spray your clothes or your pillowcase. It helps because it helps when people have arguments. It helps when there's negativity that builds up in any home, in all the corners of the home. It's just stale energy. It's called negative energy, but it's just old. And also it can get on people's clothes if they're smoke and have issues that they're around different scents. It's very mild, but it's very refreshing, and it takes away odors, whether they're from cooking or burning something accidentally or having any kind of issue. I use it with people that are sick because it's the lavender and other properties in this are very illuminating to the body. They're very refreshing and uplifting. Some essential oils and essences have mild antiviral properties, and so they can be beneficial in the air. One time when it was time to harvest, and we had just huge amounts of different herbs that just happened to be antiviral, thyme and sage and eucalyptus and lavender, and I had them all in the house at one time, and we even kept some that were dried in the rooms for a while, and nobody got sick that year. Nobody. So they're very effective to use these on yourself, or just enjoy the scent of something like the clearing. I use this with hospice patients because it helps to lift the mood and be refreshing, and hopefully keep the patient clear of any contagions that might come from people visiting. I've emptied my box today, I've got all my essences mentioned in this film, so I hope you come back, because we'll be visiting the garden soon and talking about different essences. We want to hear your questions. We want you to subscribe and like and share and give us ideas of what you're interested in. Visit us at aromahealthtexas.com. Bye.